For this hip and hamstring follow-along routine, we'll begin in the kneeling position with our left foot forward. Really leaning towards that forward foot. Your back leg should be at a slight angle so you can feel that stretch in the hip flexor. From here, you're going to reach both hands towards that forward foot. Deep inhale in, head and chest up. Exhale out as we roll the hips back and straighten that leg. We're going to maintain this half split position for a good 15 to 20 seconds. Really concentrating on breathing deeply to promote flexibility in the hamstring. Holding for another 3, 2, and come on forward, returning to that kneeling lunge. From here, we'll think about tucking the back toe and elevating that back leg so your knee is about 3 to 4 inches off the mat. Maintaining this low lunge hold will force the quad and the glute to become stronger while also promoting flexibility in the hip. And relax, lowering the knee. We're going to reach towards that forward foot once again. Deep inhale in as we look up. Exhale out as we roll the hips back and straighten that leg, half split. Just a few more seconds in the half split hold. And from here, we'll go ahead and return to that kneeling lunge. Plant the right hand down towards the ground. Reach around, grabbing that right foot with the opposite hand. And really think about driving that hip towards the ground as you twist away. This is an extremely intense stretch for that hip flexor and the quad. If it's too much for you, just do the kneeling lunge or that low lunge we did earlier. Breathing deeply, holding for another 3, 2, and release. From here, we've got one more half split, so let's reach towards that forward foot, look up as we inhale, and as we exhale, roll the hips back and straighten that leg. Breathing deeply, holding the stretch for another 5 seconds. We're going to switch legs after this, so go ahead and just get that right foot forward, remembering to really lean into the lunge so that your back leg is at a slight angle and so you feel a stretch in the hip flexor. Let's do that first half split now with our right leg forward, reaching towards the hands, head and chest up, breathing in, and as we breathe out, roll the hips back and straighten that leg. While we are in any of these stretched positions, remembering to breathe deeply the entire time. That's really important to promote flexibility. Holding for another 3, 2, and come forward, returning to that kneeling lunge, tucking the back toe, elevating the knee just 3 to 5 inches off the mat. Notice how I'm shooting my back heel back away from me and engaging the quad of the front leg. I know it's tough, but strength and flexibility go hand in hand. Just embrace the suck for another few breaths. All right, let's lower the back leg, reaching towards the foot of the front leg. Breathing in and breathing out, returning to that half split hold. Holding for another 6 seconds. And come forward. Plant that left hand down to the mat, reaching around with the right arm and grabbing the opposite foot. Twisting away as we drive that hip towards the hand we're leaning on. Loosening up that hip and quad for another few breaths. And we can go ahead and release. Returning to that kneeling lunged position with your head and chest up as you inhale, exhale out as you roll the hips back, straightening that leg, half split. All right, let's get out of that half split position. We're gonna get off of our knees and into a seated position with the soles of the feet together. Let's incorporate some PNF in the butterfly position. So as we exhale, we'll drive our elbows down into our quads, just above the knees, down towards the ground. And as we inhale, we're gonna squeeze our groin and our hips into those elbows, and our elbows are going to prevent the legs from going anywhere. So squeezing into the elbows, and you just do this for about 5 seconds or to your breath. And then as you exhale, drive your elbows down towards the ground, down into the quads, down towards the ground. By alternating between engaging the muscles and then stretching them to our breath, will promote maximum flexibility for those hips. You'll start to notice that your knees are getting lower and lower to the ground during each exhale. One more exhale as we drive those elbows down into the thighs, bringing the knees down towards the ground. Feel free to pause the video and do a few more reps on your own if you just figured it out. But for the sake of time, I'm going to proceed. Let's return to our knees with our legs spread wide, using your hands or your elbows to keep yourself upright, and just kind of lean into the frog pose. You can pulse slowly up and down while making small micro adjustments to help you get closer to the ground. With every deep exhale, you'll notice gravity starting to pull our groin down towards the ground. All right, let's get on out of the frog pose, and we'll straighten that right leg, keeping the knee of the left leg on the mat and the toes of that right foot facing forward. Twist towards that straight leg side. We're going to stretch the hamstring and the adductor on that leg. Now let's rotate that leg so our toes are in the air, focusing more on the hamstring. Remembering to breathe deeply as we hold these long stretches. Let's go ahead and switch legs. Straightening the left leg now, keeping the toes facing forward, rotating the torso towards that foot of the straight leg. Once again, let's go ahead and rotate that leg so the toes are in the air. Holding for another 3, 2, and come on out of that. Let's go ahead and get onto our feet into that standing straddle position, allowing our arms and head to dangle out in front of us. Keeping the legs straight, we'll walk those fingertips to one foot and slowly make our way to the other foot. And we can reach down the center, breathing deeply as we hold this position. Let's get those feet closer together, so just past shoulder width apart. Squat down and reach around, grabbing the heels or the tops of the feet. Thinking about maintaining a connection between our stomach and our thighs, we'll go ahead and hinge from the hips as we straighten the legs, returning to that standing straddle. Dropping the hips, we'll return to that sumo squat and hold this position for another 10 seconds. Hinging from the hips, we'll straighten those legs, returning to that standing straddle. And let's get those feet into a standing pike position, maintaining this forward fold just for a few breaths, keeping those legs straight. Deep inhale in as we put our hands on the shins, flatten the back, upright lift, and exhale out into that forward fold. Once again, deep inhale in, upright lift, and exhale deeper into your forward fold. Last one. Breathe in as we put our hands on the shins, flatten the back, and breathe out into your deepest forward fold. All right, let's go ahead and get into a seated position with our feet out in front of us. Sitting upright, hinging from the hips, engage the quads, and then flex the core, reaching as far as you can forward for 5, 4, 3, 2. Now relax those muscles and maintain that stretched position. Flexing the quads, engaging the core, reaching further than you did before for 5 seconds. And relax in that stretched position for a few breaths. Just one more. Actively engage the quads, flex the core, and reach for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax in that stretched position. All right, let's slowly sit upright, and we'll go ahead and lie onto our backs. We'll go ahead and grab just below the knees and let gravity kind of open up the hips a little bit. Let's release that left leg and bring those hands below the knee of the right leg. Turn to one side, bringing that kneecap to the opposite shoulder. Should feel a nice stretch in the glute. And pull to the other side. So just kind of rotate over, bringing that knee up to the same shoulder. you should feel a relaxing stretch in the hip of the straight leg. All right, let's release. So both legs are straight, and we'll switch sides, pulling it now on the left leg and bringing it to the opposite shoulder. And rotate over, bringing that kneecap to the same shoulder, actively pulling up to feel a nice stretch in the hip and in the glute. Let's go ahead and release, straightening both legs. And when you're ready, we'll slowly bring both legs up, grabbing the soles of the feet or your ankles into that happy baby pose. Feel free to rock slowly from side to side, loosening up any tension in the back while feeling a nice stretch in the groin and in the hips. If you followed along this far into the video, your hips and hamstrings will be feeling a lot looser. And if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. I'll be making plenty more.